Hey guys, I'm Mythical Maniac, and as of recording this, it is exactly 10 days from the release of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So, I will be rating the Pokemon that have been officially announced out of 10 and showing what I either like or don't like about them. Starting with Sprigatito. I would have to give it a 7 out of 10. It's hard to give these starters a number just considering we don't know what the final evolutions will look like, but I would have to say Sprigatito is my favourite out of the 3. For really no reason at all. And unlike others, I actually don't mind if it's going to become a quadruped or even bipedal. Next is Fuecoco, which also gets a 7 out of 10. Originally, Fuecoco was my favourite starter, and I love how goofy it is. Without ever knowing its evolution, it's hard to judge compared to their Totodile line being the other crocodile starter Pokemon. Next is Croxley, and Croxley gets a 4 out of 10 for me. Sadly, it's my least favourite of the starters, but that doesn't mean I don't like him. With most of the Pokemon I don't hate, I just like others more than others, but without an official evolution, I don't know how I can actually rate his final evolution, and overall, he may be better than the other two. Next, the legendaries. Starting with Koraidon being a 9 out of 10. I love Koraidon, and if you know me, some people do, I love fantasy, and Koraidon is much more of a dragon looking, and I love that sort of style. Also, I am playing Scarlet first. Miraidon gets a 7 out of 10. I don't hate Miraidon, but I definitely prefer the past and medieval style of Koraidon than the more futuristic of Miraidon. Amarouge and Ceruledge both get a 3 out of 10. I don't really see much of the appeal of both of them. They aren't bad Pokemon, not at all, especially since they're exactly like Gallade, but to me they just seem alright. Next is Bellibolt. Bellibolt gets a 6 out of 10. I love this little round boy. I can't tell if it's a middle stage evolution though, or is it meant to be the final, but I do hope it gets an evolution. Titan gets an 8 out of 10. One of the very first Pokemon that actually was revealed for Scarlet and Violet, and I still think it's one of the coolest that we've actually seen. Next is Cyclozar. Cyclozar gets a 5 out of 10. I mean, what do I say about Cyclozar? It's kind of in the middle ground for me. It could be interesting to see what it is, and I think once the game comes out, I'll be able to give it more than a 5, but until then it's just a standard sort of Pokemon. Who knows, the story could actually give us a lot more details about it, which could definitely boost its rating. Farigiraf gets an 8 out of 10. I love Girafarig to begin with, and I love how it finally gets a new evolution. However, I do wish it was a better typing than what it is. Originally when it got announced, I thought it was going to become a Dark Psychic, rather than just keeping the normal type. Next is Fidough. I mean, just because of the name, I love the Pokemon. But I want to see a more cool evolution for a food Pokemon, compared to Alcremie and Vanillite and all the other food type Pokemon. So I do hope that we might get something interesting with Fidough, but it's kinda doubtful. Next is Gimme Ghoul. Gimme Ghoul is a 6 out of 10. For the newest Pokemon revealed, it's cool. However, I originally thought the chest was going to be a mimic-like Pokemon, and I would have loved to see that a lot more than the Gimme Ghoul we have currently. But I do enjoy this chest Gimme Ghoul. Grafaiai gets a 6 out of 10. It has a great name, and I love it, and in my opinion, it's much more interesting than Smeagol. Having a Pokemon that paints that's a little bit nicer and cool looking than Smeagol, I definitely think it's great. And I do hope this Pokemon does evolve to something cool. Next is Grievard. This gets a 5 out of 10. I do like Grievard. I think it's a really cool concept of having this ghost puppy. Sort of reminds me of Luigi's Mansion's dog. And this also gives the opportunity to give us a really cool looking werewolf Pokemon, having this dog Pokemon that evolves into wolf. But until I see its evolution, it's kind of mid-ground for me and it stays at 5 out of 10. Next is Cloth, which gets an 8 out of 10, because look at this goofy giant rock crab. Lechonk gets a 5 out of 10. Probably going to get a lot of hate for that one, but when Lechonk was first introduced, it was cute, and it was great. But I feel like it's going to get the same treatment as Wooloo, where it's just got not a great evolution and ends up kind of being forgotten. With Paldean and Wooper, I've actually got 2 ratings. I think it'll either be 3 out of 10 if it just evolves into a very simple Quagsire that doesn't look a lot different, Or it could even become a 6 out of 10, it evolves into something new, or we do get a cooler looking Quagsire. Don't get me wrong, I love Quagsire, but I think with just the muddy colours and just a little bit different, Paldean Quagsire won't look as good as Johto Quagsire. Pawmi gets a 1 out of 10. I love Pikachu clones, but I hope this one evolves, considering most of the other Pikachu clones don't. As well as Pawmi doesn't have any additional typings, it's got nothing special about it. Next is Smoliv. Smoliv actually gets a 4 out of 10. I actually think Smoliv is one of my favourite early grass type Pokemon that I've seen in quite a long time, so I'm excited to see what happens with it, but just for the meantime, it's a 4 out of 10. And finally, Wiglet. If Wiglet evolves like Dugtrio, where it becomes 3 Wiglets, 1 out of 10. It's a little lazy considering they made a big deal about it not being a regional variant, but a convergent evolution, and I think that's just really lazy to add both Diglett and Wiglet that both evolve to Dugtrio and Wigtrio. However, if it evolves into something like a cool eel, or just something different that could be really epic, an 8 out of 10. But it's only until I see its evolution that I can really give it an 8 out of 10. For now, it's probably a 3 or 1, like I said before. But yeah, these are just my opinions on the Pokemon that have officially been released, and my thoughts on them before the game actually comes out. However, all of these ratings could easily change once I play the game, as playing the game gives you a better understanding of the Pokemon and a personality for what they are. So for now, these are my ratings, and maybe I should do another video once the game's out and I can actually judge them a little bit more fairly. If you want to see that, leave a like and I'll post a video. But I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one. Hope everyone enjoys Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.